Imagine you're the CEO of a business and you've recognized that one of your products is performing rather poorly. So you invite some key figures into a meeting and you bring up a question because you want to brainstorm solutions. You ask the team, how can we cut costs on this product so we can improve profitability? On the surface, this seems like a great way to get serendipity encounters happening. You're having everybody throw in their suggestions. You're trying to get input. So in many ways, this might seem like you're taking a relatively strong approach to solving a problem. But there's a couple very valuable lessons that we can take from this kind of a scenario. Number one, the problem is being over-defined. We're saying exactly what we think the problem is. And by doing so, we're drastically limiting the number of suggestions that people might come up with. So by saying, how can we cut costs? We're assuming that that is the best solution to the problem and that we want only suggestions within that narrow band of opportunity. Whereas if we were to ask a question like, for example, this product isn't performing as well. We'd like to increase its profitability. Any ideas? Or even more broadly, you could just simply say, this product isn't as profitable as we'd like. Any suggestions? Well, by asking a more open-ended question, you unlock far greater opportunities for serendipity, for people to perhaps suggest increasing the price and increasing the quality of the materials used so that you can increase the perceived value of the product. You can move in a completely different direction. They might also suggest something like replacing the product or combining it with something else that you sell. All kinds of possibilities might come up when you don't over-define the problem. Now, the second key lesson here is recognizing that there is a very negative downside to groupthink. You want to avoid having the first person that makes a suggestion influence everyone else in the room. And this is typically what happens. This is a bias that we have as human beings. When somebody offers up a suggestion, we suddenly start to gravitate our own ideas towards that line of thinking. And so it's really important, if we want to come up with more dynamic options, if we want to benefit from the wisdom of crowds, then we need to allow people to come up with ideas independently. And so a much better approach might be to hold the same meeting, to ask a more open question, but then to have people go back and think of their own ideas independently. And perhaps they can present them to you later. And you want to be looking for mechanisms where you can avoid this kind of groupthink. So even when everybody comes back to the meeting, you might not necessarily want them to all start pitching their ideas around the room, because some people might all of a sudden shy away from their ideas and realize, oh, everybody thought that was the solution, or that area was the solution, and maybe my idea isn't that good, so I'm going to skip over one of my suggestions. You really want to, at the end of the day, a key thing here is you want to create a culture where people value unexpected, interesting, and unusual solutions. And the book goes on to talk about many ideas in that direction, but of course, it doesn't matter how great people's ideas are if the culture just shuts it down. If everybody in the organization is too quick to dismiss an idea, or even if the individual coming up with the idea is too quick to dismiss an insight.